Hi, I'm at the Hazy Crawford Stadium. This venue, most football fans in Trinidad and Tobago would remember. A place where dreams came true, where fans cheered to the top of their lungs. And I'm here with one person today, Brent Sancho, who was a major part of that dream coming true, seeing us qualify for the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Good day, folks. I'm here with Brent Sancho, World Cup hero. Brent, we at the Hazy Crawford Stadium. This is a place with a lot of memories, for sure, not just yourself, for the entire team and all of Trinidad and Tobago. What does this place mean to you, Brent?
This place brings about, as you rightly said, a lot of memories, but it also a lot of landmarks. You know, this was an integral part of our campaign for the 2006 World Cup. It was at this stadium where we got a result that saw the passing on of the coach Whittle Sinclair. It's at this stadium where the actual turnaround for our World Cup campaign came against the Guatemala game where we won 3-2. And it's at this very stadium is where we beat Mexico to go on to play in the playoff game. So there's a lot of significant memories here. There's always been a place where you really feel at home. You know, it's a lot of stadiums around the world. You go and play and you hear players and the country talk about, being at home. You feel at home here at the Hazy Crawford Stadium. And you could only, when you look at the greenery and the seats around, you could see the faces of the fans, the patrons, and what winning for Trinidad and Tobago meant for them and the support that they gave us during that time.
And speaking about that Guatemala game, Brent, you played in that game. That was a packed house, Brent. You had a good view of, we all remember the goal at the squad, but it was a team effort. How that particular game, you have a lot of, I know it's 20 years ago, a lot of clear memories.
A lot of memories. A lot of memories. I remember going into the game, and I don't think necessarily within the camp there was a feeling that if we didn't get a positive result, we were out because when you look at the points, we needed a win. We needed to win, else we probably would not have made it to the World Cup. So there wasn't that pressure coming into the game. And so when we arrived at the stadium and we walked on the field, it was very packed even before kickoff, long before kickoff. Yeah. The pressure still wasn't there. I think the pressure started to come when we went down. They scored. Although we were playing very good, I got the start. Remember, Dennis was injured. Suspended because he got a red card against the US. And so I got the start alongside Marvin. And all seemed to be going well from me personally perspective. The team as a whole, we created 1 or 2 half chances. I remember the pressure on Stern at that point in time as well. He was, a lot of patrons within the media and outside of that were feeling that it was Stern had to be replaced because he wasn't scoring at the regular rate that he was. Yeah. So when they scored is when the pressure came in. And I think that moment when the ball went into the back of the net, the Guatemalans went off celebrating. I think Dwight started to get the boys together and some of the senior players. I think that's really where the World Cup campaign turned around for me. Because then we realized that, right, we're not in a hole, we're in a deeper hole. Because now we need to get a result. And I think from there on in, a lot of the players on that pitch started to turn in man of the match type performances right throughout the park. We had some really, really good performances throughout. And of course, it culminated with the goal from Russell Latapi and the performance he put in as well in the second half. It was just one of those sorts of games that you needed to kickstart the campaign because we were dead in the water. If we had lost that game, we were out. And I think everyone on the pitch decided to put in their best effort, their best performance to get us to what we needed to go to. And eventually we got the result.
You mentioned, Brent, Dwight York. It's no secret we had a lot of experience in that team. Having players like York, Latapi, Dennis Lawrence, Marvin Andrews, having that experience on the team, what did that do for the younger players? Or I know most of the team was experienced, but to have those kind of experienced guys there in tough times to bring the team together, what did that help the campaign?
There's a lot. I've been fortunate throughout my career to play with a lot of teams, club and otherwise, and it is the only team I've played with that had character throughout the team. Normally you have 1 or 2 leaders in a squad And they're the ones you kind of lean to when things are. But this squad had leaders throughout. It was always a very mature conversation. Whether we having breakfast or lunch, the atmosphere, the conversations were mature ones, were about progression, about winning, about doing well, about what we need to do. So the knowledge was passed throughout the pitch, as you rightly mentioned. You had people like Shaka around the team, Kelvin Jack, experienced people up front still, and of course he had his experience. So the squad throughout had a lot of characters that were leaders. So although Dwight did his part as captain of the team, I think he was ably assisted by so many across the park. So it was never a situation of having to have not enough senior players, enough leaders in the park. We had leaders right through. So you didn't have those sort of rah conversations because you didn't need it, but everybody was on the same page. And I think that Guatemala game epitomized that, because throughout that team, there were so many leaders in the park. And even when we went that goal down, there wasn't really a worry or concern. There was a, we need to get down to business sort of look throughout, So it wasn't, just Dwight needed to clap his hands and say, let's go, boys, was enough. He didn't need to huddle everybody and have that big speech, because, as I said, there were so many characters that understood what was needed to be done to progress to a World Cup, that it made that situation very easy.
And speaking about the defenders on that team, Brent, as you mentioned just now, if Lawrence was injured, you could come in. You had Marvin Andrews, Carlos Edwards, Sid Gray. A lot of, what was that competition like, and that camaraderie within the 6-7-year-old, 6-7 core defenders that could be starters in anywhere in the Caribbean or in most teams?
It was strange, because the training sessions were intense, because everybody wanted to play, and everybody felt that they should be given an opportunity to play. So the training sessions were very, very intense. But the camaraderie off the park, normally when you have that sort of situation, sometimes the camaraderie is not there because you feel I should play and you'll be a little bit slighted against your teammate. But once we left the pitch, we were like family. You would see us all hovering in one room. I mean, there were several rooms, but we all used to come in one room to talk to each other and obviously to mingle. When we had lunch or breakfast, well after lunchtime, we still on the tables talking because we'll talk. And so it was a genuine family type atmosphere with the boys. Everybody really looked out for each other. Despite the fact that every week of training, when we get here, you don't know who's starting. So you're going into training and everybody fighting for the spot. Everybody wants to put in effort. I know Leo used to go around the pitch, walking around, and he knew that everybody wanted to try to get on the starting team. So there was a good balance between that I think really helped our team spirit, and gave us that boost that we needed, because it was easy where we sat before the Guatemala game, points perspective, that we could have just chucked it in. It was easy to do that because of where we were. But again, because of the camaraderie and the family type feeling, that we always push each other to get to that pinnacle.
And I know I mentioned the Hasty Crawford Stadium earlier, Brent. We got the one draw against Bahrain in the first leg of the playoff. We knew we had to travel to Bahrain to get the result. Between the first leg and the second leg, traveling to Bahrain, what was you're going to hostile territory? What was the feeling like?
I think leading up to the Bahrain game here in Trinidad, there was an eerie feeling that, that we were overwhelmed. The hotel was inundated with people looking for tickets to hug somebody, to shake a hand, and I don't think we got the right sort of preparation. And that is the first time playing for Trinidad that I felt pressure representing the country, because it was the interest for everybody. Hotel staff, the bus man, anybody who came in and around our team. So we're going to the World Cup, so I imagine what the boys in 89 probably felt trying to qualify. And after that draw, remarkably, getting on the plane, the pressure subsided, because now the pressure is on Bahrain, because their tails were up, they were in the driver's seat.
Going home.
When we got to Bahrain, every human being in Bahrain was like, you all are just here to make up numbers, because we already qualified for the World Cup. So the pressure was off us, and I think maybe in hindsight that played a critical role in us putting the sort of performance that we put in, because there wasn't that pressure that we had here being at the Hasty Crawford. Even when we came out at the Hasty Crawford before the game to walk around the pitch, everybody was tense. All of the players. That was abnormal to us. We normally don't feel that way, but you're watching everybody face. There's a bit of nervousness, and we probably played one of our worst games against Bahrain compared to the Mexico and the Panama and the games that we had here and Guatemala here. And all of that was really down to pressure and nerves. And I think once that result 1-1 was done and dusted, and now we jump on the plane, it was like a sigh of relief, and it was a very relaxed camp. And credit Leo as well. I think Leo was always optimistic from the minute after the 1-1. He didn't. It wasn't a doom and gloom. It wasn't he just left it down as a blip on the paper. And he managed us in such a way from that flight all the way through. We just need to get a result. 1-0 and we out of here. And so he always made that situation one that is very attainable. Don't worry about it, boys. We'll do it. We'll sort it out. That was Leo's approach leading into the game.
And returning home, Brent. I mean, a hero's welcome. When you remember about that day, returning home and to that kind of celebration, it was pandemonium.
I think sometimes when we qualified, this songs might sound funny. There were no there's no Facebook or no. What I mean, there was not. Social media that you could see these things. So we didn't know. We had no idea. We knew the country was happy. A lot of the images that you see now that floats around social, we didn't see any of it. So we were in Bahrain. We celebrated, and there's a little bar in the hotel, and we celebrated like crazy inside of it. We celebrated in the locker room afterwards. I mean, every man Jack was crying, down long tears and crying with tears and happiness. But we didn't know what was going on in Trinidad. So, you know, I remember texting my father and, you know, close family, and they were happy for us. But the kind of elation that greeted us at Piarco Airport, nobody was prepared for it. Not one person in the team. You know, we just felt that, you know, we qualified. You might get a few people in the VIP and a Prime Minister come and shake your hand and pat you on your back, and you're going home and you're going your way. Not knowing you would have taken at least 12 hours to get from Piarco to Port of Spain, coming down that road. And I think the joy that it brought to the people at Trinidad and Tobago, I think that's my biggest takeaway from the World Cup. More than obviously playing in a World Cup and all that, but to bring so much joy to so many different persons and so many different walks of life and so many different persuasions that as a human being, you don't think you could do that in anything you do in life. But to be able to see that, and men holding on to a guy hold on to your foot from Arima to Tunapuna and hold and cry. I mean, there are many things you don't see, and to be able to experience that was really special. You know, we always believe as a group that we could qualify, but to actually do it and see the impact it have on your country, boy, that's a hell of a feat.
Brent Sancho.
You'll
know him his rasta, the dreadlocks in the World Cup. Now rocking the ball head.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right.